Welcome to MageCafe. This is Vijay from Korea Technologies, Bangalore. Today our recipe is message queue in Magento 2. Message queues are used for the various functionality in Magento 2. For example, import export, mass product attribute update and in many other places. In this video we are going to see about a message queue and how to configure a RabbitMQ, and finally we are going to build a simple module in order to understand the working of a message queue along with the web API. So let's start. Hi, today our topic is message queue in Magento 2 using RabbitMQ. Let's get started. Firstly, let us know what is message queue. Message queue framework is a system that allows a module to publish a message to queues. It also defines the consumer that will receive the message asynchronously. So, the message queue framework consisting of three components: publisher, consumer, and a messaging broker RabbitMQ. Messaging queue framework uses a RabbitMQ as a messaging broker, which provides a scalable platform for sending and receiving the message. There are three tables in Magento which are used by the message queues. Those are queue, queue message, and a queue message status. Queue contains the list of queues. Queue message contains the message data in the JSON format. And the queue status, this tells the status of the message in the queue, that is, whether the message is executed or not. Now we can see a pictorial representation of a message queue. Here we can see a publisher which initiates a message, and then the message will be passed from the publisher to the consumer by means of a messaging broker RabbitMQ. In RabbitMQ, it receives the message from the publisher. Among the multiple exchanges supported by RabbitMQ, Magento utilizes the one topic exchange method. Every topic consisting of a routing key. Based on this routing key, the message will be stored in the queue. Here is the last component called consumer, which receives the message from the queue and executes the message either by using a Magento command bin/Magento queue consumer start, or it can be run by means of a cron in a regular interval of time. In this way, the message will be passed from the publisher to the consumer. Now we are going to see how to install and configure the RabbitMQ in Magento 2. Now I have installed a Magento instance in my local. Now I am going to install the RabbitMQ server to my Magento instance. To install the RabbitMQ server, I am going to use the command sudo apt install -y RabbitMQ server. Once it gets installed, I am going to configure the RabbitMQ in the path app etc/env.php in my local Magento instance. So now the RabbitMQ server is successfully installed. Now we can check the status. Now the status is active, so we can move for the further configuration. Here we can see the path app etc/env.php. In the env.php, I am going to add the RabbitMQ configuration. Initially, I am going to add a queue. Inside the queue, I am going to add AMQP configuration. Say that I am going to add a parameter called host, which contains a 127.0.0.1, and it can be also be a local host, and port can be 5672, and a user guest. The password can be a guest, and a virtual host be a slash, and SSL will be empty. So now we can run the Magento command bin/Magento setup upgrade. So if any error present, then it will be encountered here. So now we have successfully installed and configured the RabbitMQ. Now we are going to create a simple module in order to understand the message queues. This is the workflow of the module which we are going to build. Here I am going to use a web API for the better understanding with the message queues. So initially the data will be passed from the web API to the publisher. Once the publisher receives the data based on the topic and the routing, it will be passed and it will be stored in the queue. Once we run the command bin/magento queue consumer start with a consumer name, our consumer receives the message from the queue and it will be executed and the message will be stored in the log file. So this is a simple module which we are going to build now. As we see in the workflow of a module, now I have created a simple module with the necessary files model.xml, compose.json and register.php. In order to create an web API, I am using the webapi.xml file. Under the webapi.xml file, I am using the routes. Inside the route, I am going to use a route. In the route, I am going to use a URL. So I am going to give a v2 product import publish and method will be post. And under which I am going to give a service class which contain a Codilar message queue API product import interface. And the method will be update. And resources will be anonymous. So that's it from the web API side. Now I'm going to create an API folder. In API folder, I'm going to create two classes, product import interface, which will be the template type of interface. And one more class will be product interface, which will be interface. Okay, in product interface there will be two methods, get SKU and set SKU. I'm going to generate the doc. So here I'm going to return a string. And here I'm going to return this. And in product import interface, public function update. Here I'm going to use a product interface as a parameter. Product interface product. So I'm going to generate a docs. So it will be an array. And similarly, I'm going to create a model. In models, similarly two files. One will be product import and one more will be product. So product will implements product interface, which I'm going to add a methods. So okay, I'm going to return here return this dot SKU. Here I'm going to return of SKU is equal to SKU. Then will be this. So I'll be generating the ph docs. Okay. Then product import payments product import interface. So this have a method update. Here I'm going to print this product of get SKU in order to check the whether API is working or not. So we have created APIs and models. Now we need to create a da.xml. to connect API and model. So config I'll copy from here. And create a preference for Codilar message queue slash API slash product import interface. And type will be Codilar slash message queue slash model product import. So similarly I need to create for product. So I'll copy this. API. This I'll make it as product interface. This I'll make it as product. So our web API is done now. So we'll then setup upgrade. So bin slash Magento setup upgrade. Once this is done, we'll give a permission. Now here we can see in web.api.xml, we can see the v2 product import publish, and we have used the method update. So in update, we are printing the SKU, passing the product interface and printing the SKU. So I have already created the path v2 product import publish. So with the test 004, so if I pass this, it should be output should be the SKU. So with this, our web API is working successfully. Now we can build a message queue. So in order to start with the message queue, first we are going to create a file communication.xml. In communication.xml, we need a config. Inside the config, we are going to write a topic with the name. I'm going to give it as a product import dot topic, and there will be a request. I'm going to send a request in the form of string and get the response in the form of a string. So our communication.xml is ready. Now we'll create a queue publisher.xml. So I'll copy the config for this So inside this, there will be the publisher with a topic. So topic will be as written here. I'll copy this. Inside the publisher, there will be a connection. As we made a connection, it will be, the name will be AMQP, and one more parameter will be the exchange, which I'm going to give as a product import exchange. So our publisher is done. So now I'm going to create our publisher folder, where I'm going to create a file, a class product import. So here I'll give a constant topic underscore name will be the topic. And I'm going to use a class Magento framework message queue publisher interface. This I'm going to use a constructor. So I'm using the publisher interface class of Magentos. Inside the function of a publish, so here I'll give an array of data. So I'll return this of publisher publish with the topic name, and I'll use this data in the JSON form. I'll send this data in the JSON format. So I've sent this data in a JSON format. So this class I'm going to use in our product import. So use publisher product import. That's the publisher. Generate docs and initialize it. So inside this, I'll call the publisher. And I use that publish function and I'll pass this data as an array. Okay, so I'll return this. So now with this, I'm passing my product interface data into the publisher. So now we're going to create a topology, queue topology. This queue topology.xml sends a message from the publisher to the queue. So I'll copy the config. So inside this, I'm going to use the exchange. So this exchange name will be which I used in the publisher exchange. And the type will be topic. And the connection AMQP. Inside this, there will be binding, which binds our data. So here I'll give some name, product import binding. And topic will be, this topic will be from communication.xml. I'll take. And destination type will be queue. And destination will be product. I'll give as a product import queue. So that's it, our queue topology.xml. Now I'll create the final part. Queue underscore consumer dot xml. So here I'll copy the config. So inside this, I'll write a consumer. I'll give some random name, product import dot consumer dot one. Queue is, so here the queue, I'll take the queue from the topology. And the connection will be MageAMQP, and final parameter will be a handler, which I'll give it as a codilar to consumer slash product import, and they are created method consumer process. Okay, so I need to create this class now, the consumer class now. So we'll create that. So now we'll create a function over here, public function. I'll take the function name from the consumer and I use the parameter as an operation. Operation is nothing but data which is coming from a queue to the consumer. So inside this, so we need to print this data in a log file. So I'll use a path for that log file. HTML Magento var/log message queue.log. So this will be the path. So I'll use a file put content where the first parameter will be the path and second parameter will be the data, that is operation. With this, our consumer is done. So now I'll summarize once. So first, initially we created a topic in a communication.xml with a request and response string. Then we created a queue publisher with a connection and exchange name. Then we created a publisher class with a constant topic name. Here the data will be passed based on the topic name. So here the data can be the custom data, but have used the API data. And here you can see a product import. From here I'm using a publisher class. I'm passing the data, but in the publisher I'm passing the data based on the topic name. And next I created a queue topology where the data is passed based on the exchanger to the destination queue. Once it is in the destination queue, we can run bin/magento queue consumer start with the consumer name. And once we run the command with the consumer name, then it receives the data from the queue and executes the handler, and the data will be executes the handler. Handler will be this. Once it executes the data, the output will be printed in this file. So we'll see the output now. So before running the setup upgrade, I'm going to make a few changes in the communication.xml. Since I'm printing the output in the file, so I'm going to remove the response, and here I've used the model.xml config. So this won't affect, even though it won't affect, I'll change this for the better coding. So here I'll remove the module, and this is communication. Similarly, you can change for the remaining files like queue consumer, queue publisher, and queue topology. So now we can run a setup upgrade. Now I'll give the permission. So we'll go to the postman, and now I'll send the data from the API. So data is sent with a body. The data is sent. So now we'll write a Magento command. Q consumers list. So we list all the consumers. This is our consumer which we have created. So now we'll run the consumer. Consumers start. So with this, our consumer started now. So this output we can see in that log file, var log. So I'll reload. So here we can see our output. So with this, our message queue is completed. So if you have any doubt or any query, please do comment, and thank you for watching.